The year is 2029. Logan, the once formidable mutant known as Wolverine, wakes up in a Chrysler limousine, feeling the ache in his tired body. He was once an invulnerable warrior, but now he's just an elderly driver hiding his former strength behind the routine of night shifts. He takes his clients to different places, some to weddings, some to funerals, and some to wild parties where life boils, but for him it's just a dim glimmer of the past. Each new day seems harder than the last, but the habit of pain hasn't gone anywhere. Logan endures because he is used to suffering, because he never had any other choice. When Logan hears a certain group of young thugs trying to strip his Chrysler of its wheels, he, sighing heavily, goes out and tries to settle the matter peacefully. But one of the bandits decides the old man is talking too much and shoots. Logan rolls onto his back, cursing his fate, and waits for his well-worn regenerative factor to pick him to pieces. Once back on his feet, he again approaches the marginalized with a peace offering, but they respond with violence. At some point, the mutant's patience breaks. He unleashes his famous adamantium claws, but one gets stuck halfway through. The bandits are only having fun until they realize that their fun night will end in a bloody nightmare. Logan turns the street into a scene from a horror movie, leaving only 2 witnesses alive. Then he swaps his bloody jacket for a spare one from his trunk and continues his shift like nothing happened. That same night, he is tracked down by a Mexican woman who calls him Wolverine and begs for help, telling him about the men who are after her. Logan looks at her tiredly, but does not pay attention to her pleas. Adventures are in the past, now he just earns money. However, already on his trail is a certain Pierce, a tall man with a mechanical arm and a nasty grin hiding a cold calculation. He shows interest in the fugitive, hinting that Logan should share with her if he sees her again. Wolverine only takes the business card, but his inner gut tells him that he's already gotten himself into someone else's trouble. Soon he's off to Mexico, where his only friend Charles Xavier, former Professor X, is hiding in an old water tank. Logan keeps him on powerful drugs to contain the old man's devastating telepathic flashes, which could lead to disaster. Xavier is convinced the world needs Logan again, but the mutant himself is not interested. Logan returns to town and receives another order from a rundown motel. When he arrives, Logan notices a girl, the same one who was in the Mexican woman's car at the cemetery. The Mexican woman asks to take them to North Dakota. She is ready to pay $50,000 for it. For that kind of money, Logan agrees. He returns home to warn Xavier that he will be gone for a few days. When he returns to the motel, the Mexican woman is already dead. He drives back, but soon notices that he is not alone. Hiding in the trunk is Laura, the girl with whom Charles seems to have established a telepathic connection. He can't believe Laura is a mutant, since no mutants have been born in the last 25 years. Pierce appears on the horizon. He is clearly displeased and surprised that Logan didn't bother to call about the girl. But before the situation escalates into an unpleasant conversation, Laura sends Pierce into a knockout. Logan orders Caliban to get rid of the car and the detective's body, but they show up at an inopportune moment. Pierce regains consciousness and catches Caliban. Meanwhile, a caravan of cars rushes toward Logan's hideout. Armed gunmen with Pierce at the head surround the car. Several go to the house to get Laura. Laura methodically finishes her cereal, casting a fleeting glance at the security camera screen. A few seconds later, the house is shaken by screams. Laura emerges from the house. In one hand she holds the severed head of the team leader. She nonchalantly tosses it at the feet of the remaining fighters, as if to suggest that they discuss a new plan. Laura moves quickly, silently, with surgical precision. Firearms are useless against her. She has claws, like Logan. Soon, Laurent is already fighting in pairs with Laura, as if they've been practicing their attacks together for years. They get to the limo, shove Charles inside, and speed away, crashing into the guardrail. Pierce takes Caliban prisoner. Meanwhile, Logan wants to find out who the dangerous girl is. Cell phone video footage clears up the picture. Laura isn't just a mutant. She's his clone. More precisely, X-23, a product of lab experiments derived from his own DNA. Laura was born from a test tube, not from her mother, and was one of many bred mutants created as weapons. But when the project decided to shut down, the children were simply sentenced to be destroyed. Then the sanitarians, migrants who still had remnants of humanity left in them, decided to save them. On the highway, the travelers witness an accident involving automatic vans. A farmer's car with horses drives into a ditch, causing the horses to scatter. Charles uses his power to calm the horses. As a token of gratitude, the farmers invite them to stop at the Pogost. As the guests prepare to retire to bed, the water is turned off in the house. Logan and the host go to check the pump. At this time, another Logan comes into the room to the sleeping Charles and Laura. The doppelganger kills Xavier and the remaining farmers, and captures Laura with special shackles. This is Logan's clone. The local sheriff shows up with the farmers and a gunfight ensues in which all the locals are killed. At this time, the real Logan drags the mortally wounded Charles out of the house. Caliban in the mercenaries' van pulls out grenades and blows himself up in hopes of killing all the enemies. An enraged Logan engages his doppelganger in battle. Logan's clone turns out to be very strong and he was close to victory, but a farmer comes to the rescue. Logan and Laura escape from the farm. Meanwhile, the smart guys in white coats treat the wound of the shredded clone because it's a shame to throw it away. Logan buries Charles' body. He is furious and doesn't know where to direct his anger. He decides to take Laura to North Dakota, where her friends in misfortune are rumored to have gathered. But on the way, he passes out, and Laura gets behind the wheel. Wolverine regains consciousness at a camp of young runaways from the lab. He is injected with a stimulant to make him feel good. The kids plan to cross the border, but Logan decides that this is no longer his war. In the morning, however, Logan, barely regaining consciousness, sees drones and armored vehicles sneaking up on the camp. He does the only logical thing in this situation. He grabs a vial of the drug and rushes into battle. Old Logan may grumble and argue, but when trouble comes knocking at the door, he is, as always, the first to go to meet it. The mercenaries methodically catch the runaway children. Some try to fight back using their superpowers, but it's not enough against a well-trained army. Logan injects himself with a full supply of stimulants and he becomes a killing machine again, though not for long. Logan is on the move, demolishing enemies left and right, and Laura is a mini hurricane on legs. At one point, even the little mutants get into the fight. They happily remember how to work as a team, and start mopping up when the battle reaches its climax. The main villain, the scientist responsible for creating these very mutant children, enters the scene. Logan decides not to waste time on idle chatter and sends the professor to his predecessors, and in the most radical way. Then the mercenaries release their main monster, X-24, a genetic copy of Logan himself in the prime of life. The young, strong and completely unemotional clone finds the weak point of the tired Wolverine and puts him on a sharp wooden stake. Laura comes to the rescue. She uses an adamantium bullet, the only tool capable of sending X-24 to a place from which even mutants with regeneration do not return. But unfortunately, the real Logan is no longer alive. His regeneration has finally run out, old age has taken its toll. Before he died, he asked her not to be like him. In the morning, the mutant children bury their protector in the forest. And then, in a final parting gesture, she turns the cross so that it forms the letter X, symbolizing not only the mutants, but also the one who is their greatest warrior and the last true X-Man. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and give the channel a like. See you soon.